So, it's been a bit of a while since I've done one of these videos, so I thought I'd show people how we seem to be getting on. Got another little fruit tree there we're going to be planting. Got a lot of berry bushes in bloom. A lot of them have been harvested already, and it's been making red currants and all sorts of things, jam and all different things. Yeah, I think we start with a little place. So we're about to get more flue stuff for this, so that we can hook this up, and this will have an internal chimney during winter. And we can actually, this little fire here, you can use the top as a hot plate, so you can actually cook pans on top of it. So for anybody that wants a brew, and when it snows, it actually usually does snow sort of down this direction, which means that not all of this deck gets covered during winter, so there's a place to sit outside. Bit of a place at least. Yeah. So we've romped back one of the rose bushes. Most of this was getting up to waist height, and luckily the guys from Salt let me borrow the mowers. And we got a guy in with a digger who dug up all of our willow. For the people that, I've already been asked this question, but people were saying, why haven't you used it? And essentially we had so much that we couldn't keep on top of it. What I managed to harvest at the beginning of summer wasn't usable. The stuff is so straggly. It sprays off in all different directions. It's no good for cane weaving. It's just one of these really sort of obtuse willows. You could sort of pick it down if you had the time, but having the time's the operative word. Anna working, and she's the one that likes doing all these things, then there's not much time for it. And I'm not really interested in cane weaving or basket weaving or things like that. For myself, it's more building the house, not even getting the garden ready. I do what Anna tells me when it comes to the garden. I don't have sort of much interest in this, aside from the actual construction part. But yeah, you can actually see the green paths, which were the little maze of paths I was managing to keep mowed between the willow. Like this little odd section here, wherever I could run the mower I did. Because their work mowers were surprisingly expensive. For sit-on mowers, they call them garden tractors over here, but for sit-on mowers they were blooming brilliant. And this is just a pile. We've got two piles of it. The third pile over there isn't actually a pile that he made when the guy came to dig it out. It's actually where I've been piling up all the stuff for burning at Christmas. Big old tracks. I'm genuinely surprised he didn't have an accident, because there's an odd hill here which he's definitely gone over. But this section down here, it's all full of reeds and things. It's a little sort of runoff that runs around all the fields. For people that don't know, most of Finland is marshland, and the reason that it's sort of livable is because they dig these gullies in absolutely everywhere, and they have done for hundreds of years, to let all the water drain off back to the river systems. So unfortunately the bottom of our garden, as you can see, is marsh. Yeah, so we're trying to figure out what to do with it. I think we're going to dig some drainage ditches. Don't know if that's going to happen this year, but if you've seen the last video, you'll know how much we actually cleared. But this has been the sort of primary, keeping on top of this. And this actual grass area is getting really marshy. I've not got boots on, so I'm being careful. But yeah, so this, as it turns out as well, this one is another type of willow. But actually, this is one for firewood, and it's been, we burnt a whole load of it last year that had already been cut down and put in our wood store. So I'm keeping it trimmed back at the moment, because it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be coppiced about 2 foot high. So where these giants are is where it's been coppiced originally. But we're going to plant more of this out and get it growing, so we've got at least some firewood coming in. Because this plant itself, I'm not sure if you can see by the end, but between all, there's 4 trees here, and the shortest amount of growth has been 1.5 meters. And the one right at the back has actually had about 2.5 meters growth this year. It's ridiculous how much it is. But we're going to mince that down, and the bigger stuff's going for firewood and the smaller stuff's going for my sort of January, February bonfire, which is what that's going to be. And we'll light it up and have a good laugh. I'm waiting until it's full of snow to light it up, because of the amount that I want to set up. So we've got a lot of wood there, and down the side where this gorge is, there's a lot of willow that I don't trust catching it, but I'm not moving that fire. So I'm going to buzz cut that down, and once that's sort of down, then we're going to wait until it snows to give an extra bit of protection and light everything up, because by February we'll have 3 foot of snow down here. There was a great moment here. You can see this little shiny part on top of the rock is where I bounced a lawnmower over the top of it. Having not been round there, it was so deep with grass. It's probably about hip height with grass. But I didn't realise that there was a rock there, because all through Christmas, from dead centre on the screen, from there where the leaves are, it was pretty much flat along here with the amount of snow that we had. That lovely pile of mud is all the fresh mud that Lucy dug out when she was outside and a run. All of the bunnies are inside at the moment. We are finally down to all the ones that we're keeping. There's not been much change in here, with the exception of having a little gas walk, which is really nice. We're not filling this up with firewood, because hopefully if I've got enough time I'm actually going to drop this, because it's in a really awkward position. It's the biggest pain having to drag firewood up here back to the house in winter. We've already stacked, in the garage we've stacked up about 4 times as much firewood as we had last year in the garage. We're trying not to put any there. I'm thinking about putting some at the back of the garage where it's sort of covered over. And yeah, up here not many things have changed. As you can see, we've got the 2 hutches outside, but we've not got any rabbits in them at the moment, because we don't need to, which is nice. But yeah, that's sort of that out here. In the garage I'm actually starting on some of the projects for the house, for the garden in the house, but the first point is to actually get the garage sorted. This has been ongoing, but between work and general knackeredness, I haven't managed to get much. So what I'm actually doing is constructing a saw table for creating some things, because there isn't much space in here, and I'm going to have to keep my car in here in winter. All of the cars here need heat connectors, and we only have one external socket on the garage, which can do for Anna's car, or technically Anna's mum's car, because her and her mum will swap over at Christmas. But for mine, because it's a diesel, and having all the interesting things happened last year and the interesting discoveries, like a British winter car battery will actually freeze about minus 30 degrees. It was minus 35 and my battery froze solid, and I had to get a winter battery from here. My radiator froze solid while driving, even though it had British antifreeze in it. So I had to actually heat the radiator up literally wrapping it with an electric blanket, and heat the radiator up to the point where I could drain it out and then fill it with antifreeze from here, which is rated down to -50 because we hit -40. The strange beauty of it being that at I think it was -35 when my radiator froze solid, and I could still drive providing I didn't go under 50 kilometers an hour and I didn't go over 80, and that kept it from overheating with just the cold air blowing through the engine without any radiator. But my car hopefully has been proofed for the winter now. The last thing I need to do is replace the ABS system, which I have. I still need a couple of parts for, but as you can sort of see kicking about here, I've got all my ramps and jacks ready. I've had the tools for years, so that's the next job before winter. I did the entire winter last year with no ABS, which is really interesting in the snow. And the studded tyres are beautiful. Ah, the old British registration plate. But yeah, so I'm making it so that these things can roll out. And I have to clear this so that I can sort of create more space behind, so there's more space in here for the car, but I can also roll in and roll out the units when I need to do some work. And as you can sort of see in the edges, I created a bit of insulation in here because last year it was actually, during the day it was colder in the garage than it was outside. If it was, I think the coldest we got was -37, and inside the garage it was -42. It just seemed to insulate the cold really well. So hopefully with a bit of insulation we should do. But yeah, the next job, after creating this, the next job is going to be creating a new rabbit hutch for all the rabbits. Sparky, our little tiny bunny stallion, is going to be neutered, spayed, one of the two, neutered, on Friday. So that'll make it that he can actually stay with the rest. I'm trying to get really close. We have a little baby Robin who's been here all year. There he is. He actually lives in this bush. I need to put more food out for him. But he stayed here all year with Anna doing the garden. But yeah, so this is what the place looks like at the moment. This is something else that I have to build.